too much real tragedy threatening now for me to enjoy my own make-believe.
Recognised by discerning critics and readers as a poet, novelist, essayist, playwright, fellow at King's College, Cambridge, lecturer in English.
Mr. Lucas's other plays include The Bear Dances, produced at the Garrick Theatre in London, and here at the Stockport Garrick.
In 1933. And now, The Lovers of Gudrun.
The publishers sent a journal here? To a little station in the middle of France?
Oh, I thought we'd be on the Paris-Dijon train at New Year.
Oh.
Night sacred to resolution. One needs resolution these days to face a new year at all. 1938 is not a happy-looking year. This journal may amuse the future also. A message in a bottle from this vast ship of ours that drift.
What about your Gudrun play? You're happy about that?
I am if you design it.
Oh, Peter, I can't. Can I?
The hall of the house in Western Iceland, a wooden roof held aloft by 2 rows of wooden pillars. Through an open door, a green meadow with haycocks newly mown.
The general situation grows grim. Germany tightens her belt as if already at war.
Kjartan enters, fair and blue-eyed. I shall marry Gudrun.
Yet over it all smiles ironically a spring sun as kindly as summer.
Minutes of committee meeting, April 1938. Question of costumes for lovers of Gudrun, discussed at length. Finally decided to investigate costumes made to designs by Mrs. Lucas.
The Times printing the same turpitudes as ever, filled with horror at the idea of peace and pity in Spain. No one possessing knowledge of international affairs can doubt the victory of General Franco. All talk of compromise and truce plays into the hands of the warmongers.
Where are you going?
London. To rally support.
Oh wait, what do you think of Orange?
In April, the Nazis expelled from the Burgenland 47 Jews. They spent 4 days wandering frontier forests. Charities in Prague put them on a barge. They are there still, in utter want and misery. By day, allowed on shore no more than 100 yards. Each night they return to their floating hell, where rats eat the very clothes of their children.
This problem has never been easy. It seems a monstrous interference with a person's life.
For the sake of a doll to play with.
A doll with a soul. And now, P, in such a world as this...
It's our world, Peter. Full of colour, light, ideas. The world is what we make it.
Are we really condemning innocent creatures to exist merely to gratify an instinct which many of the best men have, to all appearance, painlessly inhibited? was thinking of you, P.
A refugee's letter in the New Statesman gives a picture of exile in this new Europe. June 4th, he left Vienna for Belgium, was arrested and deported to Germany, arrested again. 3 weeks in jail. With a new German passport, he reached Milan and was given 48 hours to leave Italy. By Zurich, he travelled to England, but was turned back at Dover and not even allowed to ring up friends in London.
But listen, Kiata!
I shall marry Gudrun.
And then?
And then live happily ever after, you croaking raven.
Gudrun!
I am not the child they think. My heart grows hard in years of waiting. Like the red-hot sword blades they temper in the glacier stream. One day, I may teach him.
Only the meek could once inherit the earth, it might become healthier. A genius may die if the germs a ruffian survives.
All rage is tiring.
Everything is a blur to me until suddenly, pin sharp, we always travel in September.
Minutes of Plays Committee meeting, September 1938. Lovers of Gudrun. It was reported that the making of costumes based on designs by Mrs. Lucas had been put in hand.
September 5th. Leave stopped in the French army. September 7th. French naval reserves called up. Times leader that, after all, it might be best to cede the Sudetenland. September 9th. Hitler masses 200,000 men on the Czech frontier. Czechs mobilized. Across the dark of the Rhineland we watch for the flash of guns. Not a newspaper left. Newsagent lent us his own. An admirer of Chamberlain, eager for peace at any price. Who could blame him? Within gunshot of the Rhine.
This is my first meal today. I'm a schoolmistress from a school on the bank of the Rhine.
You evacuated this morning.
In the last taxi available. My neighbors obstinately ignored all warnings and now I have no transport. I left in tears.
I think we would be mad to go on to Strasbourg tonight.
Come with us. My husband campaigned for Czechoslovakia. He helps refugees.
Prudy, please.
The British fleet is mobilizing. Hitler has given the checks till 2 a.m. We decide to make for England.
Prudy! Pete!
What did she mean to you then? A young soldier in the Somme? You carried a paper with verses of the Gudrun saga.
You think I'm like them? Scared to fight another war. I'm scared if we don't.
An artist tried to seduce me by playing Beethoven's Fifth. He began by stroking my foot in the third movement. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Moving said foot did not deter his amorous pawing, so I bent down, picked him up, and threw him across the room. I'm fearless like Gudrun.
September 29th, London. I offered my services to the War Office. Sleep quietly in your bed, says the Prime Minister to the hysterical mob of London, cheering madly because cowardice has saved their skins. Czechoslovakia is sold. Peace for our time. My God.
Kiartan enters in a fur coat, spear in hand, his golden winged helmet on his head, revealing for a moment the white waste of moonlit snow stretching to the fells.
Kiartan, you and I were doomed to each other.
No. First broken faith, then theft, and now you will break faith again.
Hitler, Mussolini, Chamberlain, and Daladier met at Munich. Peter says the danger's probably over to the blackmailer's next demand.
The sale of European decency is completed. The occupation of Czechoslovakia begins tomorrow.
My God, Prudy, do you know what time it is?
What are you wearing? Looks like a curtain.
You don't make curtains out of orange chiffon, darling. It's 4 yards.
You can see through it.
I can feel right through it even so. I don't care what I look like. Let's dance.
I woke up on the floor. Do you hear? Whispering bodies covered in dust.
None of that was real. You were dreaming.
If the bomb does fall, I must save my skin and my thoughts. I cannot bear to think of my words being blown away.
The crisis seems to have filled the world with nervous breakdowns. Or perhaps the crisis itself is only one more nervous breakdown of a world driven by the killing pace of modern life.
5 years ago, we put on Mr. Lucas's The Bear Dances, a magnificent first act, although the other two was somewhat... It was a very moving piece of writing. Since then, I've heard nothing of Mr. Lucas until the recent crisis when I read his letters to the Manchester Guardian.
Too much real tragedy threatening now for me to enjoy my own make-believe. Armistice Day, suitably celebrated by a pogrom in Germany. Synagogues burnt.
Old men pushed off their feet, kicked to the ground. Middle-class mothers held up their children to watch. Hitler in Sudetenland. I've got badly behind with all of this. The illness of someone one loves blows out the universe. I find myself thinking, God, if there's a war, it'll wreck her treatment.
New Year's Eve, the Paris-Dijon train. A year ago, I was on this very stretch and foresaw a black year. Indeed, Austria has gone. Czechoslovakia. There has not been war. Europe still exists in the same sort of nightmare. Only worse. We have gained nothing but time, which we, and Chamberlain, have wasted. It was about myself. I was a blind prophet, and blind I remain.
If you ask me what happened, I married a Don who seduced me in every field in Cambridge as a student. He used to make sex noises like a wolf and insisted I bleat. When I was unfaithful, he was so amazed. He put me in a lunatic asylum. I shall run away to Greece and have many lovers. I cannot bear to think of my words being blown away.